Going on, everybody? Happy Friday evening. It is December 15, 2023. We're back here on the LTL True Crime Podcast. Nice to see the chat filling in. We're going to talk a little Idaho for tonight. Lots of things have come up in the last couple of days here that I just wanted to come out and just talk about a little bit and see all your feelings on it. It's nice to see all the lovely people in here, subscribers, mods. I appreciate it. Members. We got a lot of members here as well supporting LTL. Thank you so much. And if you want to chat, feel free on the right-hand side of the screen to chat away. If not, when this video posts, you can comment down below. So here we are, Friday evening. Talk about a few things here, but before I do that, as I am trying to make my transition into a full-time YouTube creator, independent media station, I just want to tell you a little bit about Buy Me a Coffee. The link there is pinned to the top of the chat, and what you can do here is you want to support the channel, you can just go on to click that link above and you can buy me a coffee right here in this little section here. And if you want to buy a monthly membership to support, I have all those up there as well. Or if that doesn't tickle your fancy, you can always super chat, or there's various other ways that Nightbot will drop links to support the channel as well. And you can also get channel memberships here on YouTube to get all our members only content. So there is my pitch for the evening. Okay, let's talk a little bit. I just want to address this first. I'm getting a lot of emails lately. You know, a lot of people concerned that people are using the Brent Kopaka videos. I get it. It's okay. Carrie and I have discussed some things. The second round that we should be receiving on Tuesday, that's going to make it a little bit more difficult to get that content. So the case is going to build, and really the juicy stuff that everybody's waiting for is probably going to take a couple of weeks to get here. But Carrie and I have made some decisions on what we're going to do with that footage going forward. And it's not going to be inaccessible to all of you, but it's going to make it a little bit more harder for people to use the footage flat out. So we are going to do something to curve that a little bit. So they got 2 freebies, which is fine. And we'll move forward. We will move forward here on LTL. We're doing the right thing. Look, people are using my content. It has my watermark right across it. They know where it came from. And if they want to come over here on LTL, check me out and subscribe, please do. We welcome everybody in. But, you know, going forward, we'll just do some things to make it a little bit more difficult. So I digress on that. So let's get into a little bit of the Idaho 4. Now, recently, been a little drama, been a little drama on the creator angle and on the Gonzalez family Facebook page, and I wanted to bring this up and just talk a little bit about this. So Steve wrote a post the other day. A post on the Gonzalez family Facebook page. I read this the other day, I think 2 days ago. No, just recent, a day ago. And he talked about, I wanted to address a YouTube video brought to my attention today by a foreign creator who claimed to have had death threats due to his content. So I know the foreign creator, it's Harsh Reality. I don't watch his videos. He essentially makes his whole page about Idaho 4 and has essentially done that for the past year. I think he drops like 7 or 8 videos a day on Idaho 4. I just don't know how anybody could do that much content. But, you know, and I just always say, you know, what are you going to do when the case concludes? You know, where are you going to go? Are people going to really continue to watch you? Maybe. That's fine. Obviously, he's doing something that people like. People go to his channel. I think he's got like 74,000 subscribers. He's probably going to get a silver play button soon. And congratulations. I think that's great. But I don't know. I just, as far as myself, I like to diversify my content. I'm a live streamer. Just don't drop a lot of videos. I don't like to spend the time to do them. I'd rather just hit go, be authentic. There's no cuts. It's all right in front of everybody, but that's just me. Anyway, so Steve said, I wanted to address a YouTube video brought to my attention today by a foreign creator who claimed to have received, quote, death threats due to his content. While initially tried to be helpful, it seems he claims may have been a ploy for attention. We support all the victims associated with the 1122 King Road residents. We have been threatened, but not by any of our girls' college friends. Individuals like this grifter tarnish the reputation of honest YouTubers, and the manipulative attempts to exploit victims' families should be condemned. Despite our family stance against baseless content, he turned vague words around to create controversy. Twisting victims against themselves is unacceptable, and we want to be clear, we stand united with all victims of this case. So I guess my take on this, I'll talk a little bit about it. I think Steve is right. And I was reading some of the comments here, and I think people completely smoke the most pot or take the most fucking LSD I've ever seen in my entire life. This first content. Oh, it's sad that threats have made against Harsh Reality. I never heard him say nor do anything but respectful about each victim during this circus of investigation. That fucking person is on space coke. You are on space coke. Harsh Reality has spun up so much controversy and so much conspiracy in the Idaho 4 case. I mean, I must be on fucking Pluto. I mean, or this person must be living on fucking Pluto if they don't see this. You know, and that's something that I've always tried to do here, is maintain the integrity of the case, be honest to the victims, the families, don't trash these people. They don't deserve it. And he has built his channel on spinning conspiracy. I mean, 100%. You know, I'm not afraid to say it. You know, I'm not afraid to say it. And these people on space coke, you know, and go down here too. Oh, I'm saddened to hear that your family and Harsh have gone off on the wrong foot. Where have you fucking been the last year? Have you fucking watched any of his content? You know, he spun more conspiracy and put victims against each other, and the surviving roommates against each other. And he said Steve is this and Steve is that, and Christy's this and Christy's that. Grubject this and that. It's bullshit. It's all bullshit. It's all bullshit. So these people are fucking high. They've snorted a lot of space coke and they're fucking living on Pluto. So, you know, Steve, if you're watching, please don't entertain this guy anymore. Just move on. Don't entertain this person. You know, it's kind that you put that out there. And I think it's very kind the way that you addressed it. Don't entertain this fool. You know, this is what he wants. You know, listen, I can admit it here, and I'm sure that all creators could say it right now. All our views are down. You know, all our views are down. All our live shows are down. And people need to spin this up now to start trying to get people to view and look at their videos and all that shit. You know, I don't go that way. I just don't do it. I know that I could spin a lot of conspiracy and controversy and all that. I like to keep things honest here, and do the best that I can in keeping myself on a straight and narrow path when you talk about these people, because honestly, you have to look at it. You have to look at it. And I just always look in the mirror and say the things that I say on here, what I want that said about me, what I feel good at the end of the night when I lay my head down in my bed, that I've said those things about certain people. And that's the way that you have to look at it. And that's how that you have to look at things when you address people in life. Treat others how you want to be treated. If you're going to be a shitbag to people, people are going to be a shitbag back to you. And believe me, this shit comes back around. Karma will come back around 1000%. 1000%. And I don't get with that stuff. It's just not my forte. Not my forte. I like to stick to the facts. I may do some experimental stuff and say, could this have happened? But when we look at the legal documents and put it parallel to that, and use something and say, could this have happened? But I don't say this happened. The trap doors, the 19 people that were in the house that night and then just vanished through the woods, all that shit. The drug dealing that was coming from the house. So I think you all understand where I'm getting at. So you know what, Steve, if you're watching, don't entertain this clown, because this is what he wants. Listen, views are down. They're down across all YouTube. I'm feeling it a little bit. Everybody's kind of scrambling right now. Just don't entertain it, because that's what he wants. He just wants material. So I digress on that one. I say I digress too much. I say I digress too much. Let's see. Let me just go back up to some of the comments here. What you all think about the Idaho murders? Well, I have about a year's worth of content. You can go back and watch that. Carrie says, thank you for this, Brian. Absolutely. Look, Crystal says, yes, thank you for saying that. He does nonstop speculation theories. It's exactly what the channel is based off of. And I always say this, as a creator, diversify your content, because at the end of the day, when these cases that you've spent 2-3 years into creating content about, when that finishes, what are you going to do? If you've based your whole channel off that, yes, you're riding the gravy train right now, but I'm going to tell you right now, when cases conclude, people drop off, or people become uninterested, in cases as well, because it might take too long. So anyway, let's just move on here. I think the biggest thing that we need to address is the King Road house. And Ann Taylor, I believe, was over there today. I have a little bit of video of that. I'm going to play that. But Idaho Murders is from Fox News Reports. Idaho Murders, King Road house where Brian Kohberger allegedly killed 4 students, to be demolished. And let's play this little video here. And we're probably going to, of course, why not? Let's wait for this commercial to end. Oh, I can skip ahead. So it says investigators replaced the flyover doors and windows to the home where the University of Idaho students have year. This is probably when the FBI went back in to investigate. That's what I'm guessing. Yeah, November 1st. That's when this took place. Let's do this. All right, I'm going to do this. I'm going to ask everybody, poll at the top. How do you feel about the King Road house being torn down? So it goes on to say here, the university said that Thursday press release that the demolition of the house would begin on December 28th. Let's see. In a statement, the university said Kohberger's defense team will visit the home on Thursday and Friday. And we have some video of that. I'm going to show. The defense indicated that they wanted to take photographs, measurements, and possibly gather drone footage of the house. The release said, following this, the university will prepare for any demolition of the house Demolition will begin at 7 a.m. on Thursday, December 28th, and it may take several days to complete and clear the site. President Scott Green said, the house is a grim reminder of the heinous act that took place there. While I appreciate the emotional connection some family members of the victims may have to this house, it's time for its removal and to allow a collective healing of our community to continue, Green said. I mean, how do you fucking make that choice? How do you make that choice? You're going to be the judge and juror on that. I mean, I'm going to be honest with you all. I'm actually really pissed off at this. But I understand, I understand that, it would take a lot to maintain the house, but I'm really upset by this. I'm really, really upset. And let me know what you all think. Let me know with the poll at the top. Right now we have 25 people happy, 75% of the people not happy. I'm really upset by this. And I just hope it doesn't turn into one of these things. One of these fucking money grabs, because I feel like they're going to build a memorial there and they're going to want all these tourists to come in. I mean, it's going to be a fucking shit show there. I'm going to tell you right now. And the thing that has pissed me off, and I'll give an example. I went out to the 9/11 memorial in New York just as it was being built. They hadn't even built the museum yet. The fountains had just, I think, been completed, and they were letting people come in. And when I went there, I was shooting a lot of photography at the time. And I showed you that photo that I had of the guy standing at the fountain. Let me just recognize this real quick. Shani says, I wish they could have hold out until the trial. Absolutely. So let's do this. So let me go back to my story. So I want to say it was 2014 or 15. It might have been a little earlier than that, 2013. The fountains had been completed. It's probably 13, 14, or 15. I can't remember the exact year. So we go out there. I took my camera with me, and I was like going to photograph and document everything. And we get there, and you get to, I don't know if you've all been there, but if you go in through the park, and they show you the tree, I forget the name of the tree, but I think they call it maybe the Liberty tree or something. It's still there. It's the tree that lasted. And I think it recently just may have died or something happened to it. But anyway, they have that. And then you're just like walking through, there's benches. And all of a sudden you're walking, and I'm like have my camera out, and I'm going to start shooting pictures. And you're walking, and you see like a lady on a bench by herself, and she's just crying. And then you're like, wow, like, is she there crying because of maybe a husband that died, or a friend, or was she just there that day, or is this just a traumatic experience for her? Maybe she's a New Yorker. So all this stuff starts to enter your mind. And then you get up to the fountains, and you place your hands on the bronze, and you start seeing all the names and how massive those buildings were. You don't understand the scale of it if you haven't ever been there. I think they were like 1 square block all the way around or something like that. But you just see this massive scale of this emptiness, and then the water flowing in, the ever flowing water. And you're kind of taking it all in. And then you turn, and you have people laughing and smiling. And then you turn here, and you have people taking selfies, like behind the fountain. And I'm like sitting there, and I'm going, do these fucking people understand that like all these people died here? It's like over 2,000 people. And you're like taking selfies. And I remember, because I was, well, single guy at the time. And I remember going on like dating apps and seeing people's profile pictures. And it's like their main photo is them being a photo taken of them standing in front of the fountains. And I literally would find them, and I would try to connect with them, like, come on, motherfucker, connect to them. And I would give it to them. And I would just be like, you're a super disgusting person to even be using that. I would bomb people on their Facebook profiles. I'm like, you're disgusting that you would even use a photo like that, to take a photo like that, a selfie photo, or have standing in front of the fountain and someone taking your picture. Like, come on, bro. Like, let's have some fucking heart here, And it just was like an emotional moment. And that's when I kind of like slid my camera and put it away. But then I came up once and I said, I want to get at least one photo here that captures the moment. And I've shown it before. It's the man standing at the fountain. And I had that photo of him looking over shoulder. And that's literally like the one photo I took. And, but anyway, I just hope, and I'm going back to Idaho now. I just hope it doesn't turn into a situation like that, where people are going to go there. It's going to be selfies. It's gonna be a tourist trap, and I have a weird feeling that that's why the school wants to build this, to bring in people to the community, to spend money to the community, to bring them in, possibly have them go there to go to the school. So it's just kind of this really weird thing that I have about this. I just don't like it. I understand you have to build something that's respectful to the victims. I honestly, but I think this has to be handled with the utmost care, and it has to be planned with major thinking in mind. You have to be absolutely sensitive to these families and these victims. You cannot make it a tourist trap. You can't do that. I just don't like stuff like that. Like when they did the whole thing out in like Shanksville, I get it. I understand it. I respect it. It's a huge memorial out there, but it's like a touristy thing. And I don't want that feeling here. I don't know. I just don't know how to handle it. I just feel dirty about the whole thing. It just doesn't seem right. And I think that the families should have absolutely be involved with the planning of it. It should 100%, the final design, be approved by all four of those families. 1000%. And I don't want it to be like the fucking school just takes the lead and does what they want to do. That won't be right. They have to have the families involved with the design, or at least the final say in what happens there. I don't know. I don't feel right about it. It just doesn't sit well with me, and I'm going to be honest with you. I'm going to be emotional when I see videos of that house being torn down. 1000%. I'm going to be super emotional about it, because it's like, the trial's not even here yet and you're washing it away, you know, and you just like the school's like, oh, we just want to be on with get on with this now, you know, and I just feel like that's what's going on, you know. I don't know. It just I don't know. I just don't feel good about it. I really don't. I just don't feel good about it. So it says, while we appreciate the emotional connection some family members and victims may have to the house, it's time to removal and allow collective healing over community. Green said. In February, the University of Idaho will announce the house would be demolished and a healing garden constructed. Shannon Gray, an attorney for Kaylee Gonzalez's family, previously criticized the decision to demolish the house, stating that it holds critical evidence to the case. And I absolutely 1000% agree. So it goes on here. The home itself is an enormous evidentiary value, as well as being the largest on one of the most important pieces of evidence in this case. Gray said that the University of Idaho previously asked the victims' families' opinions on demolishing the house, then proceeded to ignore those options and pursue in their own self-interest. I hope that something happens in court. I really do. I hope that something slows this down. Maybe, I don't know, maybe Shannon Gray can file something on behalf of the Gonzalez family. It's way too early, man. It's way too early. The case is not even concluded yet. I don't feel good about this. I really don't. All right, let's take a look at, it just bothers me. Let's take a look here from ABC News. 11 hours ago. Let's play this.
Idaho College murders. Accused killer Brian Koberg's defense team has been granted access to the off-campus house where the murders took place. This morning, they're heading back to King Road for a second day. Eva Pilgrim has the story. Good morning, Eva.
Good morning, George. His defense team at the home ahead of its demolition. And the decision to tear down this house has gotten mixed reactions from the families of the victims. Some want to see it go, saying it's a constant reminder of the horror that happened there. But others wanted it to stay, at least through the trial, just in case. In just over a week, that home, once a sought-out house near campus, will be no more.
With a demolition date less than 2 weeks away, Brian Koberger's defense team granted access to the home where those 4 University of Idaho students were murdered last year. Koberger's attorney is seen visiting the home Thursday and set to return later today. The university telling ABC News the defense indicated they want to take photographs, measurements, and possibly gather drone footage of the house.
They've had access to this scene in the past, way back when Brian Koberger was originally arrested. They now have additional information, so they know where blood evidence was. They know where footprints were. They're looking to find ways to recreate that information and test it in a way that they can present to the jury.
Ethan Chapin, Xana Kernodle, Madison Mogan, and Kaylee Gonzalez were found stabbed to death on November 13th of 2022. The families still devastated. Overnight, Steve Gonzalez, Kaylee's father, telling ABC News, it's going to be another rough Christmas. According to the university, the FBI canvassed the King Road home in October, gathering data to create visual aids that could be used in the trial.
Visual aids, they provide more information that allow for the understanding of photographs and videos. They can provide measurement. They can provide the location of walls, for example, or the directions of cameras.
Prosecutors allege Koberger, a criminology student at a nearby college, broke into the house in the early hours and committed the murders. A judge entered a not guilty plea for him. A trial date has yet to be scheduled. The university president calling the home a grim reminder of the heinous act that took place there and is set to be torn down on December 28th. Last month, students gathered on campus for a vigil.
I just don't feel good about this. I really don't. I just don't feel good about it. I don't know, man. It just makes me feel really weird.
Lighting candles in remembrance of the victims 1 year after their murders.
And demolishing this home is incredibly emotional for all these families.
Yeah.
One mother telling us previously, my daughter had a happy life there, guys.
Yeah, just sad and tragic, Eva. Thank you so much.
Just feel really bad about this. All right, let's see what Banfield has to say. Let's hear Banfield.
News Nation's senior national correspondent, Brian Enton. He's been following the story, obviously, from the very beginning. He spent more time outside that house than I think anybody on this story. So this was a surprise. I mean, you just heard Caitlin and me talking about how surprised we both were. I'm sure you were as well. Any idea why now? Why so sudden? I mean, instantaneous. That the announcement to the families, the announcement to the press.
Because the fucking school wants to erase it, and like I think Mary was saying, someone was just saying a couple seconds ago here in the chat. You know, they want to erase it before the next school year. They want to get it out of there, and I just don't agree with this.
Defense
Really
is in the
bothers
same day for 2 days, and then within 2 weeks it's down.
Well, first of all, I think they got about a 2.5 hour heads up, the family. It was about 2.5 hours. They got the call, and then the press release went out where we all found out that there is an official date of December 28th. The timing is interesting. I mean, just a couple of days after Christmas sort of makes sense because students won't be there on campus. But I also wonder if they're thinking right between Christmas and New Year's, is that a time when, you know, the media will stay away, when everybody's busy, when they can kind of try to do this under the radar? Perhaps that's the reason that they picked that time. But actually, I just want to remind you, like, the house is not in the middle of the campus. It's in a neighborhood right next to the campus. So I get that it's upsetting for the students and it's a distraction and it's hard to look at, but it's not like they have to walk by it every day in the middle of school. I still just don't understand why take the chance.
Are we feeling maybe Brian's a little emotionally connected to this house too? Like we're emotionally connected to this house. That's the big fly on fly on the wall moment in there. We want to know what happened. Even Brian's getting upset. We've spent a lot of time. We spent a lot of time talking about that house and what went on inside of it. And I think probably Brian's feeling a little bit that way, as a reporter, just like all of us reporting the story. And he's just like, why? I get it. Why?
Why not just leave the house up until the trial, like we've seen in other situations, like we saw in Parkland and all sorts of other cases we've covered. I don't understand. I just don't get the rush.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a hard one. And I remember when you gave us the tour and you showed us when you stood in front of the house facing us and then walked, opposite to the camera down the hill, you literally within 50 steps were at the fraternity houses and Ethan's fraternity house specifically. So while they don't have to walk by, I suppose they could look up and see it there. But I'm with you. It's always been, I'm surprised it's such a battle. I don't think the university wants to
I don't know, Mary. I have to respectively disagree with you. And I love you to death, but I have to respectively disagree with you on this. I really do. This really bothers me. And I'm going to tell you, and anybody that feels this way, I'm going to respectively disagree with them. It just really, really bothers me. And you're all entitled to your own opinion. We're not going to agree on everything, but I have to respectively disagree. And Carrie, I have to respectively disagree. I have to. This just really bugs me. It really, really bugs me.
Money off the property. I don't think that's what this is about, but it sure is sort of a sad battle that this family's had to go through. The families have had to go through, and not all of them agree. The Chapins, they haven't joined the fray in terms of families that want to keep that house standing. They've sort of not weighed in either way, publicly, that is. But certainly the Gonzalez family have led the way with other family members saying, just keep it there. What's the rush? What if there's a
Right.
mistake in some, like here we are, Brian, how many times have we seen FBI or police or members of the defense team coming back
Right.
in the last couple of months
Makes a great point.
to, I don't know, do some extra
Right.
work they needed to do?
Yeah, and who knows, they might need to do something else that they haven't thought of yet, or maybe the jury will want to see the house.
100%.
Steve Gonzalez, Kaylee's dad.
Yeah,
maybe
what if the jury wants to have a walkthrough? We saw that on the series, the staircase. He kept his house with the blood all over the walls for months until the jury walked through. We saw that on the Netflix series. And I'm just trying to think. Hang on a second. Who was that? Peterson. Scott? No, not the Lacey Peterson. What was the first name of that guy? Peterson, the author. Maybe someone can help me. Yeah, I think, Glera, I have to agree. This bugs the shit out of me. The what if Michael Peterson, thank you. I still don't think that guy killed his wife either. I think it was the owl. I really do. Really looking at that afterwards, it makes a lot of sense. The owl theory. I don't know if you heard that. You can look it up. But it just, this is just bugs me, and I just feel like it's a cash grab. I think they're going to build this probably very beautiful memorial. But again, I said that the family has to be 1000% involved with the final checkoff. But I think this is a cash grab to bring people in, to bring them into the town, spend their money. They're going to have to eat. They're going to have hotels. This is a tourist trap, and it's lame. It's fucking lame. It's going to be very lame because that's what these things turn into. They might as well fucking take it and make it a bed and breakfast. I'm not trying to be funny, but that's what I feel like they're going to do here. You know, it's lame. It's super lame, and it should wait. And then make the decision. Then have all the court battles you want after about it. But let's get through the trial.
Good point to me last month when I spoke to him about this. He said, if this stays in the county and they don't move it, and they're trying to find a juror
By the
who's
way,
unbiased, it could very well be.
Blair in the chat, him and I are going to be doing something very, very soon. I'm actually going to reach out to him here. I'd like to do something with him. So Glara says, this case has been a circus from the first day. I feel so bad for the bystanders. Yeah. I mean, look what everybody has done as far as their content, you know. I mean, the bullshit content people have put out, you know, it's just, we were talking about at the beginning of the show. I'm sure you're aware of what's going on. You know, the whole harsh reality thing and Steve Gonzalez kind of battling back and forth, Harsh saying that he's getting threats. I don't believe it. Listen, we all know. I said it today. I mean, I don't know how your views are. Mine are down a little bit. I know some of the other channels that said things to me. Hey, my channel, my views are down. People are looking to get things to do, get clicks and views right now. Although your chats are strong, man. You'll pull like 400 or 500 people. That's pretty good. That's pretty good. Maybe I need to start calling some more people out. You're really good at it, man. I tell you, I like watching your channel.
Him, a farmer, isn't going to want to see a 3D image or a computer view.
Who did it? Who was it? Was it the husband? Was it the wife?
Want to go out and see the house for themselves. And they're saying, well, the inside is different, and it's been, you know, there's been chemicals. And you can't
By the way,
but even the
outside,
outside.
Subscribe to the Glare. You need to go over and subscribe to his channel. He's got a fantastic channel over there. Calls people out, calls it what it is, keeps the facts straight. Very well versed in the Karen Reed case, and definitely want to team up with him soon. And listen, now that you're in here, Glare, I wanted to say, I'm trying to get a power panel together, maybe like once every 2 weeks or once a week. We can rotate through each other's channels because Tom said he wants in on it. And maybe me, you, and Tom can hook up. Maybe we can get a fourth person in it. Maybe get Aiden Turtle Boy, have a power panel, and we'll go on and talk a little Karen Reed. And we can go around, you know, respectively to each other's channels or whatever. If it's something that you sound like you want to do, let me know and I'll get it together. I think it'll be a really good thing. And I think people really look forward to seeing that. I think it'll be great. So if it sounds like something you want to do, maybe you, me, and Tom can start. He said, I would love to do something with the Glare. We'll do a power panel. We'll talk Karen Reed. I think it would be great. I think it really would. I think we'd fucking kill it. All right. Oh, cool, man. All right. Well, I'll respectively reach out to you. I'll get Tom involved. We can try to pick a night. You know, if you want to start here and go to your channel, whatever, you know, we'll figure something out and we can rotate, maybe do like once a week or once every 2 weeks until Karen's trial. I think it'd be really cool. Or we could do Idaho 4, whatever you want to do, man. I think it'd be really fun. I tried doing this in the past, and for some reason, these fucking creators get all worried. Oh, you're going to steal my subscribers. Oh, I'm like, do you realize, you moron, that all these people all watch the same fucking channels? No one's stealing no one. Believe me. All right, let's keep playing through.
Actually, I mean, maybe they're going to want to stand on the street.
See, everybody
say,
wants
what
it.
Could
I'll
you
watch that.
actually see from that window? Or what could you see from the front to the back of the house? Or what exactly does the road look like in that area compared to the house? I mean, they may not even have
Brian,
to go inside.
Everybody's loving.
Let me ask you that, because you have a very unique ability to say, I saw the digital replications of the house before I got there, before you landed for the first time in Idaho and went to that property. How different was it when you got there? What surprised you in person? Because you walked around the back,
Good
like you
point.
were taken all around the house. Which
I don't usually say good point, Banfield, but good point. Very good point.
Haven't done. So you tell me how different it would be looking at a digital model compared to showing up there for the first time and you know, getting the real feel.
It's a very unique house. It's the 3 stories. Part of it is into the ground. It's a very unique driveway. I mean, you see in the video here, it's this steep driveway that goes up around the house. There's an apartment complex on one side. I mean, when I went, my first thought was like, it's just an interesting sort of little corner of this street that you can't really visualize unless you're there. And again, they may have questions. The jury may have questions about the outside. What could you hear if you were on one side of the house? Could you hear things? You know what I mean? Who knows what they might want to.
Oh, by the way, go over and check out the Mob Crew. He's been killing it over there lately. He's got some enhanced audio and video of the security video, and he was kind of lining it all up with the DoorDash driver, and he says he claims that he can hear the DoorDash driver by the timing of everything in that security video. So go check out Mob Crew. I love his channel too. He does some really great live streams over there, but check that out. He was doing some really cool stuff over there the other night.
Want to feel out there. That's why I don't understand it. I don't understand.
Brian's a little upset.
Thank you for watching.
Brian's upset too. I don't feel good about this, guys. I just don't. I don't feel good about it. Galera said, I covered Bullhorn Betty out there when this first happened. Brian Enton was interviewed by Vanity Fair. I almost had a writer on, but she backed out because she was getting threats. Holy shit. OCD, thank you so much for becoming a new member. Welcome to the Rookie Detective level here. I appreciate that. Thanks for your kind membership. Yeah, you know what's funny, man? I just recently, so I don't know if you watched any of my Chelsea Grimm content. I've been covering that case, and unfortunately, just not any new information. We're waiting for the Phoenix file, and Carrie and I are getting pissed off about that. But I don't know if you know, one of the PIs, Steve from SF Investigates, I've had him on. We did a live panel. I talked to Steve pretty regular. But I think him and Bullhorn Betty are going back and forth right now about a bunch of shit. I've been kind of paying attention, but not fully paying attention of it. I know people have had some issues with her in the past. I don't watch any of her content, so I couldn't even tell you. Oh no, a stolen credit card, had a hard time rejoining due to my inabilities. Oh man, I'm sorry about that, but thank you for coming back. And dude, Steve's a fucking great guy, right? Super honest, like super down to earth, very informative, like no bullshit. And that's why I think I like him, because I'm a no bullshit guy either. And I know you're a no bullshit guy either. So us no bullshit guys get along really well. But Steve's a good dude, man. Like solid dude. And just really helped me out in Chelsea's case and gave me a lot of insight when he was out there. And he cares. He cares about that poor girl. And just as much as I do. Never met her in my entire life, but have become very personally attached to that case. And I tell you, man, I get up every single day and think about Chelsea, like, Chelsea, where are you? And, the sad thing about it, and what I say is that poor girl is out in that desert. She deserves to be found and brought home. It's just, it's crazy. But Steve's a good dude, man. Steve's a good dude. Yeah, I know. I was looking at some of them. They were good. Okay, let's pull up this here. What else did I have? This one was from Lauren Crime Network called Crime Fix. I think they're doing these little spots now. And this is talking about, they're saying the families are furious. So let's check this out.
The house where 4 University of Idaho students were murdered will be torn down after all by the end of the year. It's something at least 2 of the victims' families fought.
Yeah, it's a stupid.
I knew in my heart what was best for those girls and Ethan. I knew what was best was to keep that around until they did more.
But the school now says the house is coming down. I'm Anjanette Levy. It's Friday, and this is Crime Fix, Law and Crime's look at the biggest stories in crime. It's been more than a year since Maddie Mogan, Kaylee Gonsalves, Xana Kernodle, and Ethan Chapin were murdered at the house on King Road. Police held the scene for weeks, often going back to the house to look at things or collect more evidence. Following the arrest of Brian Koberger for their murder.
Tell me, what are some of your cases? I'd love to see him in the chat. For me, it's Chelsea. 1,000%. 1,000% it's Chelsea. I mean, I think about her every day. I want that poor girl to come home. Just, what I've learned about her, what her past has been, the people that have been in and out of her life. And believe me, she's had some really great people in her life, but she's had a lot of guys that took advantage of her, and some really shitty people that have taken advantage of her and got her wrapped up deep in just shit you wouldn't even want to be wrapped up in. And just with a really shitty guy at the end, this guy that was in a relationship with her. And I don't know. I still think about her. I think about, what was going through her mind when she got out in Arizona. From looking at it a little bit more and understanding more about her, getting a feel for the type of person that she is, I think that she was in a really bad moment of almost despair. And, her life is fucked up. She's with some fucking jerk off that's using major drugs. She's on major drugs. She reaches out to her parents. Her parents don't want to help or give her any money and just tell her to keep coming to Connecticut. She's driving essentially in a circle and then ends up out in that forest. Gets up in that forest, blows out 2 tires, and essentially I think she just had a moment and said, "No one wants to help me." And she either did one or 2 things. Planned that big escape to disappear, and she's off on her own and taking care of herself, or walked off in that desert somewhere, either got lost or, did the unthinkable. And those are the scenarios that I come up with. I don't think there was any foul play. I don't think that she was taken. The best case scenario, she just walked off, found her way out of there, and she's essentially, like she said in the hotel video, living, off the grid, staying off the grid and getting herself well. But, that's what I think about. It sucks. It really, really sucks. Glara says the Leia Centello case is similar to him, and it's sad. Yeah, it sucks. It bothers me every day, and Carrie and I keep inquiring for information, and I just feel like Phoenix could tell us a little bit more. And I was kind of unhappy with the supplement report that we just got, but that's the end of the road right now. It's all I got. And I feel bad. I wish I had more. Everybody is silent. There is no one talking. I haven't talked to any of her friends. I haven't heard anything from her family. I haven't heard anything. It is radio silence on Chelsea. And, selling her car off, letting the lease go in her apartment. That's not good. It's not a good thing. But I don't know. It really bothers me. It really bothers me. All right, let's play here.
The owners of the King Road house gave the property to the university, which is totally understandable. A horrific crime occurred there. Asbestos and other biohazards were discovered inside.
Yeah.
Who would want to live there? The school wants to tear down the house, but Kaylee Gonsalves's family specifically wanted the house to stay around until after the trial. I broke the story of the family wanting the house to remain standing last June. Here's the Gonsalves family attorney, Shannon Gray.
Big piece of evidence that potentially a jury might want to see it. I mean, there's sights and sounds and viewpoints and angles. It's an odd shaped house where witnesses were standing, where, potentially the defendant was standing, locations, how you could hear something, how you couldn't hear it. If there was video or any other evidence outside, what was the vantage point?
I'll be honest, because I'm going to be really honest here. Some of you may not know in this chat room. And I think because Chelsea's case is so very personal to me, I took it a personal offense, last week when I found out some information about Titanium Built. And, she came over and clipped the case file from my channel and used that information on her channel and passed it off as her own research. I don't get with people like that. Do the hard work. Do the request yourself. Don't come in here and take my material and then cut it and literally type it in your own typing, word for word, and put it up and put your watermark on it and say, oh, yeah, I just found out about that. But it's literally word from the police report. I was the only one online that had Chelsea's police report. And then ultimately, when her and I had a discussion back and forth, she admitted to it. Yeah, I did take some stuff from you. So, yeah, I am very personal about that. And I don't think that she had, I just feel she's so far behind. Oh, I'm doing the records request now. For what? For what? We're like 2 months past you. What are you going to do? You're going to go back and get the records request and then go online and start spinning up people where we're like 2 months past you. You have nothing to do with that case, but you're only doing it because you like to copy me. Flat out. She flat out loves to copy me. And believe me, I'm not the only one that sees it. It's been brought to my attention for months. And here's someone that I had on my panel and dropped her link numerous times to get her subs over. She got to 10,000 subs, didn't want anything to do with me anymore. But she went back and took my idea on the Idaho 4 Looking Back series, ran that on her fucking channel for a month. Let's go back. Let's look back. And even her thumbnails were using the same writing as I was using, the same format. And I called her out on it. Flat out called her out on it. And here she is saying, oh, go ahead, make a video about it because that's what people like to do. Well, she made a video about Harsh today, calling him out. You're eating crow there, Tanya. So, yeah, that's how I feel about her right now. Went in there, used to super chat her, throw her money all the time, say, hey, you're doing a great job. I think it's great what you're doing. You know, I encouraged her. I think it's great what you're doing here and covering Chelsea. I said that to her. I admit that. Said that to her. I super chatted her that. But it wasn't the invite to come over and take the legal document that I'm showing, cut it word for word and type it in your own handwriting, and then go to your audience and say, oh, I sourced all this material. Someone told me about it. There's no fucking way you would have known about that unless you had the case file. Or you went over and watched my channel. And you did watch my channel. And she's probably watching me right now because she loves to watch me. And then she loves to copy me. So put in the work yourself. Do the records request. Learn how to do it. We've had to learn how to do it over here. You know, get ahead of something. Think ahead. And then maybe you'll have privilege to getting those body cam footage and those case files before anybody else does. Make those connections with the clerks in those offices. Carrie does a phenomenal job at that. A phenomenal job at that. So I've let it out now. Now it's public. So I've put it all out there. And I don't give a shit. You can go back and tell her. Because I'll tell her. I'll pull her up on panel. I have no fear. Believe me. I'm not going to be holding back anymore. I've held back for way too long. You know, and I felt like even my stance in Karen Reed, I was criticized about it by people that I was surrounding myself about, and I was getting beaten down and criticized about it. And the way that I feel is the way that I feel, and no one's ever going to take that away from me. No one's ever going to take that away from me. My thoughts are my own. No one will ever control me. And the things that come out of my mouth are my thoughts and my decisions. And that's why I have this platform. And if you don't like it, start your own platform. But don't bash me and don't say things about me because I might not agree with you as a creator. So, oh man, that felt good to say that.
One of those videos, if they picked up audio or anything. So,
oh yeah,
a lot of
Ron,
things I think
that's
are
right,
important.
Ron. Thank you, bro. Fucking Ron. And she's in my fucking chat low key and says, I don't watch you. And I threw free memberships. And I remember someone going, oh, well, that means that she's just watching your channel. Bullshit. Because I caught her when she was in here low keying me. She got given a free membership when I dropped free memberships. She low key got free membership. And I was like, oh, hi, Tanya. Because she was in the room watching. And And I know that's true because before, when I've dropped free memberships, people have said, hey, I watch, but I don't usually chat. And thank you for the free membership. I forgot about that, Ron. Straight up, bro. That's awesome.
About that home. And we've just stressed, just hold on. Wait till the trial is over, and then
let's do this.
Then do whatever you want with the property.
Now, after the outcry
I'm
from the
literally the only one
Gonsalves
that
and
hands
Coronado
out free
families,
memberships
the
all the
university then changed course and halted plans for
Speaking
a
of
possible
memberships, let's
October
give 5 of them
demolition.
away.
Then, soon after, Koberger, who maintains his innocence, waived his right to a speedy trial.
5 coming in.
Prosecutors and the FBI actually went back to the house on
Welcome
King
to the
Road.
membership group.
At the time, the university said they were there to take measurements for audio and other trial exhibits that would be constructed. That wouldn't have been possible before with the tight time frame of a speedy trial.
It does
Now
happen
the
a lot.
university has
The thing
announced
is,
that
I'm very, very fair. This is the point that I've made to all of these people. I am very fair. All you need to do is write me an email and say, can I or could you? And you know what? 99.9% of the time I would say, sure. All I ask you is just give me credit. Give me a shout out. Drop my link. Whatever you need to do. I'm very fair in that case. If Glare reached out to me tomorrow and was like, hey, do you have Chelsea's file? Can I use it? I'd be like, sure. Can I use your Brent Kopacka video? No one has reached out to me to ask me to use that. They're just using it. And then they go, oh, well, it's fair use. And I understand that. It is. But it would be nice to give some credit back to someone or some courtesy and say, do you mind? I've done that before. The way that you credit people the right way, you make a video. Who was it? Rachel, and I forget her last name. This is how you credit someone. Rachel, what's her name? Starts with the Shannon. Is it Rachel Shannon? Yeah, Rachel Shannon True Crime. Okay. This is how you credit someone the right way. Let me just find the video because it was a little while ago. Yeah, right here. I'm going to play, Rachel, I hope you don't mind. I'm going to play this really quick. I want my audience to see this. I've had someone that barely even has 1,000 subscribers on their channel reach out to me and said, hey, do you mind if I use one of your videos? And I went, sure, go ahead.
If like a county stops you, they're not going to be as nice.
That's how you credit someone the right way.
Okay. Thank you. Yeah, you got it. Have a great rest of your day.
Here's my watermark. Chelsea Grimm, full video.
Now, according to Stephen, Chelsea's father, her grandfather was a World War II veteran. So that could be why she was up in her feels, but we can't be completely sure. We don't know why she felt so emotional after being at the cemetery for
She's
that
a great
photo
creator.
shoot.
Well, she was very into photography. So, and she had done some articles and some
Just gonna
photography
speed this up.
in San Diego as part of the way she was supporting herself. And so to hear that she was doing a story on
Yeah, where
West
she
Veterans
says it.
is not unusual. I don't know the circumstances under which she was taking pictures in a graveyard at night. So I really don't make anything of it because that would be pure speculation.
I also want to note that Chelsea's parents said that it wasn't super out of character for her to be in the cemetery taking photos because, again, she was an artist and a photographer. The full body cam footage of this interaction is about 9 minutes long, and the only place I could find the full footage was the LTL True Crime podcast. So shout out to you. I have no idea how you got this full footage, but thank you for posting it.
Well, by the way, Rachel, if you ever want to know, you reach out to me and I will help you in the process of sourcing those types of things. So that's a fantastic creator. She's got 183,000 subs. Never had any interaction with me, but that's the right way you credit someone. And that's all it takes. A little bit goes so far with people, but I always find that, no other creator wants anything to do with me. Well, there's some but the people that I've worked with in the past want nothing to do with me. But when I get stuff that's juicy, they want to use it and they don't want to ask me. So I'm sorry I went off on that tangent, but I had to publicly put it out there because it's been bothering me, and it's now off my mind, and we can move on. But fantastic. Sub to her channel. Great stuff.
Koberger's defense team was also being
No,
given
that's the
access
thing
to
is like, and I was trying to make this point too in my argument, is that I don't do this to watch my sub count. Yeah, we have a sub counter, okay? Use that as motivation. That's motivation saying you move it in the right direction. But I don't care if I have 1,000 subs and 100, 100 consistent people watching me a night, and my channel stays at 1,000 subs, but I can have fun with the people that come in my chat, or if I have 50,000 subscribers. It's not about sub count to me. This is what I want to do for the rest of my life. By the end of 2024, my goal is to be a full-time independent media channel. I don't want to go back to a corporate job anymore. I want to be able to, by mid-year, transition into a part-time job, and then by the end of 2024, be a full-time creator. I'm giving myself 1 year to do this. Only 1 year. So, time is of the essence. And I want to make this my dream. I want to get it out of my bedroom into a fully functioning studio. I want to have guests that actually come into my studio. This is my dream, and be able to get out on the streets and do a little bit of what JLR does, travel a little bit, go to these locations, talk to these people, talk to them in real time, go out to these communities, or get out there and at least help people. If I can help someone in person, maybe they're struggling, maybe they need some help, but that's what I want to do. I want to do this for the rest of my life. But I'm not someone that just comes home and clips the camera and goes, oh, well, maybe I'll talk about this today. Oh, I have 6 hours free today at home. I'll just hit go and hopefully people will throw a bunch of money at me. That's not what I do. I prepare for these shows. I mean, you see the presentations I put together, and I've talked about that. Some of those presentations take me 4 to 6 hours to do a day. You're clipping everything, you're animating it, you're thinking about the arrangement in those presentations. I mean, it's a lot of work. And I work 40 plus hours a week at a full-time job. So the minute I roll out of bed, my computer goes on and I immediately look at my channel and go, how is it performing? What have I done today? What can I do better? What can I do to improve? And then I go to work, and all I do at work all day long is think about my show for the night, or what I could be doing. Who could I respond to? And then my off days, I literally, on my off days, because Carrie's my assistant, I give her my schedule now. 7 to 9, breakfast, gym, come home, work for 2 hours, 12 to 2, what was it? 12 to 2 the other day, Carrie, personal time. That's just do my personal affairs. 2 o'clock, come home, work on presentation for Tom. Tom CPU was over here the other night. Get that together. Reach back out to Glare. I have all these things that I do, and then usually about an hour before showtime, I don't like any contact. I just like to wind down, meditate a little bit, get in my space, and go. Showtime. This is my life. I love doing this. And I know this channel can be so much more. I can feel it in my heart. But this is not something where I just come home and sit down and turn the camera on and go, all right, we're going to look at some articles today. I mean, I really, with all my heart and soul, every show, I try to give the best performance I can, 100%. So, I'm giving myself a year. By the end of 2024, I want to be a full-time creator. I want to do this for the rest of my life in some capacity. I want to be either a journalist or something in media or whatever it may be. Be here on this YouTube channel. Be here with all of you. But it's going to take your help to do this. Come to the live shows. Watch the videos. When I drop new videos, interact on that. Drop comments, likes, share, anything to get this channel moving in the right direction. We need this channel to get a little viral, and we're doing things, but it's just not catching on. And that's where I have to look at it and say, what am I doing right and what am I doing wrong? You know, the Kopaka stuff I thought would have done a little bit better. It's just not performing. I don't know why. It's a little irritating. And the other day I had a moment. And I typed to Carrie and I said, I think I'm going to walk away. And she said, you can't. You're made to do this. This is your calling. And I had to think about it. I said, you know what? She's right. And I got past that emotion and I got past that feeling. And I just said, you're right. I am made to do this. This was my calling. It just took me a long time in life to figure it out. But here I am. And I'm not perfect. There's a lot of things that I need to learn. I don't have the best vocabulary. I might not present things the best way. But you all come here to see my presentation of how I put things together on those subjects that we talk about. And I appreciate that 1000%. I appreciate all the emotional emails that people write me after I had a total shit show the other day. I tried starting 2 shows and I was pissed. And I just said, you know what? I need to back away from today. And I get a few emails of people. Hey, I'm concerned. Are you all right? And that feels good. Makes me feel good. And I write everybody back, you know, but this is not something where I just, you know, I'm bored and I sit at home because I have nothing to do and I just turn my camera on. I mean, this is real passion of mine. I love being a creator. I've always been a creator. You know, I played in bands growing up my whole life. I love the musical process. I love art. I love digital art. I love drawing. You know, I'm not a good, can't draw well, but I just love that. I love graphics and I love photography. And this is just a great media where I can meld all those things together. And it's fun. It's a lot of fun for me. This is my release, my stress release. Sometimes. Sometimes. All right. Enough of my long-winded speech. It's getting late. Let's get through this 15-minute video. Seriously, I appreciate everybody being here night after night after night. Sometimes the chats are small. Sometimes they're big. It doesn't matter the numbers. All it matters is that I'm getting sets of eyeballs on me and we can keep pushing this channel forward, 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 and beyond. I want to be the best. I want to be the best. I want to be the best. And I want to make people feel good when they watch me. You know, if I can bring something to them and they go, I never thought about that, or that's really interesting. And if I can teach something to someone, or maybe you listen to me now and tomorrow you never listen to me again, but maybe 5 years down the line, you go, you know what? That guy was right about that, or something about that clicked. That's the impression I want to leave on all of you when I do this. So, okay, let's move on. That was nice to have that speech.
The house
That's
so
why
they
I like
can do their own
that's why I
work.
like doing live stuff. I can't sit down and cut this all together in a video. I just love to hit live, and that's it. You are who you are. You're not going to change. When you're happy, you're happy. If you're pissed, you're pissed. People are going to see that, you know, and that's why I think this is the most honest way to produce content on this platform, because when you cut a video up, you can be anybody you want. You can be anybody you want. And I'm not shitting on anybody that creates videos, because obviously it's what YouTube is about. And there's some fantastic YouTubers out there that can edit and sit for hours. And to me, that would just drive me crazy. I'd rather just go, bam, this is who I am. No smoke and mirrors. The camera is live. I can't back up. I can't cut it. I can't say, wait, time out. This is what you're going to get. That's what you're going to get. And I want to inspire all of you when I do this, because we're all amazing, great human beings. And there, you know, if you're feeling down or someone tells you you can't, you know, I've heard that a lot in my life. You can't. And I love proving people wrong, because then I go back and say, you know what? I did. And you can too. You know, you can do those things. You can be great. You're great at something. And if you haven't found it, you will find it. You know, listen to your heart and your mind. It will lead you there. Believe me. Everybody is born and destined to do great things. whatever it may be, how big and small it may be. But you are all destined to do something. That's why we're here. That's why we're here. We're all here to learn from each other and take that wisdom and just keep passing it along as we go. Okay, let's get back into Idaho. I know that was a long-winded, self-reflective speech, but hopefully, you have some takeaway by that. So, all right, let's go. Idaho.
Including taking measurements and getting some drone footage. The house will be torn down on December 28th, 2 days before the one-year mark of Koberger's arrest. The president of the university issued the following statement. It is the grim reminder of the heinous act that took place.
I've done that in the members only stuff. I've shown my stuff off before, Casey. You're gonna have to come in and check out some members only. I get a little bit more personal in the members only. I'll show more of it. Carrie says you inspire me. Well, you inspire me every day. You do a great job. You help me out. You help me out a lot. I appreciate it. Debbie says, amen. That was deep. I must admit, I do miss your streams when you're not on. Then you drop a short. I must admit, I do miss your streams when you're not on. Then you drop a short. Aha, yeah. Christine says authenticity shows. Great speech. Thank you. I just want to inspire people. If this is something that you want to do, everybody always comes to me and they go, I want to start a YouTube channel. I want to start a YouTube channel. You know what I tell them? Post your first video and then post another one. And then after that, post another one. And then after that, post another one. I've shown you my disaster streams. My first stream was a fucking disaster. And here we are 9 months later, full functioning studio, 3 screens in front of me, a subscriber count of what? Almost 12,500 people. Pretty steady chat that comes in. Great supporters, great minds that reach out and love the content we do. It's crazy. In 9 months, this is what we've accomplished, not me. We're all a team here. And it's going to grow and it's going to keep going. I have so many plans inside my head. I just got to make it happen. I just got to figure out how to do it. And we'll get there. All right, let's keep playing forward.
There. While we appreciate the emotional connections some family members of the victims may have to this house, it is time for its removal and to allow the collective healing of our community to continue. So there you have it. The president of the university says the house is going to be torn down. And it sounds like the defense and the prosecution are totally on board with this. And somebody who would know about how important this is and what it means and whether or not it's the right decision is Bobby Chacon. He's a retired FBI agent and an attorney. And he and I have discussed this whole thing in the past, and we'll have more on that coming up on Law and Crime another time. But right now we're talking about it here on Crime Fix. Bobby, thank you so much for coming on. I appreciate it.
Sure, thanks for having me.
The FBI, they went back there last month, I guess, and took some measurements and did some things at the house to prepare it for trial. Now the university says we're tearing it down. So what are your thoughts on?
I got a statement by Shannon Gray, the Gonzalez family lawyer. I'm going to pull that up just before we end the stream, and we can talk a little bit about that. I know this is a late night banger. I usually don't do them this late, and I appreciate everybody being here this late with us, but let's keep playing through.
First of all, the university is saying, indeed, we are going to tear this house down on December 28th.
Well, I know the reaction that most of the public is kind of feeling like, no, don't do that. Until we get a conviction, we can't, anything that's even possibly relevant to this case shouldn't be destroyed and things like that. But I can tell you, I was part of a forensic team on the FBI for 19 years, and they've gotten all the evidentiary value out of that house that they're going to get. They've got all the forensic value out of that house that they're going to get. There's not much more they can get. And I know there are some trials that allow the jury to go to the location. I've never been a big fan of that. I think that can be misleading. I think that in the courtroom is where you get the best evidence presented to you. I just got off a case where I was a juror for 5 months on a case where murder happened in a house. And we had both county and state forensics teams.
Eddie, thank you so much for the 5 through Buy Me a Coffee. I appreciate that. If anybody wants to support me, you can just click on that link that Nightbot just dropped called Buy Me a Coffee. You can buy me a coffee through Nightbot. Thank you, JD. I appreciate that. All right, let's keep playing through.
was do examinations of that house. They provided us with sketches, with photographs, with video, and then the results, obviously, of their forensic examinations. And they walked us through the crime scene. Our case, the murder happened in the kitchen, and then there was blood in the laundry room. It all matched up with witness statements and other things. And so I think that the value that that house holds has been sufficiently obtained by the prosecution, or as you stated, in this case, the prosecution wouldn't agree. If the prosecution thought they needed that to make this case, they would fight that destruction. They could try to get some kind of TRO, some kind of injunctive relief to stop the university from doing that. But the prosecution realizes that they've obtained all the forensic and the other, even the eyewitness probably did a walkthrough of it. You know, the one eyewitness roommates that they have, I'm sure they did walkthroughs with the police. And so I think they've gotten everything they need out of that house, personally.
So just to be clear with our viewers and our listeners, when they take the jury on, you know, a field trip, if you will, I mean, they don't call it that, but they call it a jury view. When they take the jurors to the crime scene, they will take them inside. But, you know, there were some emails that came to light over the summer in which the prosecution and the defense had agreed that the house could go back to the university. They were like, okay, the university can have the house back. We've done all we need to do there. It sounds like there was like asbestos discovered there. There was also
Tanya, if you're watching me, don't call me. I'll just drop the link for you, and you want to do this right now publicly, we can, because you're calling me right now. Just get in the chat. I'll drop the link for you. And if you want to have an argument this late at night, I'm all ears. Believe me, I know you're watching me, or I know that someone went over and told you, because you watch me constantly. You don't pay attention to any of your stuff on your channel. You have to come over and see what I'm doing all the time. So it's fine. Get in the chat. I'll drop the link for you because you're calling me right now. If you want to do this and scream at each other this late at night, it's perfectly fine. But I'm not going to answer your voicemail. I don't care about it. Okay? I really don't care about it. But you need to move on, and you need to start worrying about what you do on your channel. So I'm all ears. I'll wait here for you. If you want to come into the chat and you want to argue with me publicly, it's perfectly fine because you're going to get burnt. So here you go. I'll drop the link for you. I'm going to give you about another minute, and then I'm going to move on with my show. Because my audience came here for Idaho 4 stuff tonight. Should we move on? Let's move on.
So, you know, a lot of chemicals apparently were used to process this scene. So this is a highly contaminated environment, and they didn't feel like it was
He has
necessary
nothing
to
better to
take
do but watch
jurors
me
in
all
there
the time.
because
He wants to know
you
what
can
I'm
do
doing.
what's called these
So
pharaoh
she can go back
scans, you know,
and copy my titles and my streams and copy my material. She does it all the time.
I've seen that in some trials where they scan the place. It's like this 3D thing, and they can capture all of these
Tanya, I'm not
images,
picking the
and then they
phone
can
up.
do
If you
trajectory
want to
stuff.
come
They
on
can do
live,
all
you
this
can. Stop
really
calling me.
fancy stuff. They can also design computer animation models. I've seen that in some trials too, where they basically, it's like a virtual tour of a house. And this is a really crazy shaped house with a 3rd floor addition and everything. So that was the objection of the family in one instance. Like one of their attorneys said, this is a really odd shaped house with like these staircases
Very
and,
worried.
you know, all
Needs
these
to move
different
on.
places, and you might hear one thing and
Ooh.
Well, I think you're right. I mean, back in my day, it was called an Icon Total Station, but whatever they're using, they do these laser generated, computer generated models. People have seen this in CAD and in architectural drawings. If you look on some of the real estate websites that you can do house tours through and stuff. And so the computer software is very sophisticated nowadays. You can almost remodel anything onto a computer that you can show existed in real life. Like I said, I don't think there's a
go ahead and make a
benefit.
video.
I don't think there's pretty much any benefit.
Worried about clicks and views. That's all she worries about. Go ahead. It's going to bring you clicks and views. I don't do this for clicks and views. I told you what I do this for.
Keeping that house. I don't think
they want to talk about it. You can come up on panel.
Planned on doing a jury view of the house. And that's done in not in every trial, certainly. And there's different criteria in different states.
I'm doing a show.
Use different criteria for when it would benefit a jury to see a house. I don't think, obviously, the prosecution doesn't think in this case that that's going to be a great benefit to a jury in the future, or else they wouldn't agree to have the house allow the university to destroy the house. Remember, the university owns the house. I mean, it's property of someone else. Something tragic and something horrible and evil happened there, but it actually is the property of someone else, and so they can do with it what they wish in the long term. And that's after the government and the prosecution and the police have gained every piece of value of that property. And in this case, I'm confident in the prosecution position that they've gotten everything. The FBI went in there more recently anyway, with a team that I think did exactly what you alluded to. They did a computer scan, a laser scan of every inch of that house, of every little nook and cranny of the house, and those kind of things and stuff. And so I don't see it as a huge detriment to the successful prosecution in this case.
It'll be really interesting to see those exhibits when they are finished. I mean, it's amazing what can be done these days and what can be done with audio enhancements. I mean, there are recordings too from Ring door cameras that are referenced in the probable cause affidavit, talking about hearing a thud and like a yelp and screaming and a dog barking. I mean, we may know exactly when somebody passed away and was murdered in this case due to that type of evidence. The defense is going in there today, Bobby, and they were allowed in there yesterday as well. So the defense is being given access to prepare their case. They're doing their own measurements and getting some drone footage and things of that nature, right? I mean, I don't understand where they're going with that, but obviously they're probably going to want their own experts to refute or do whatever with whatever the state is producing with the FBI. So I mean, what do you think is happening here as far as the defense perspective goes? I mean, they're going to go in there and take their own measurements. I mean, measurements are measurements. I mean, I'm thinking of a measuring tape. Like a measuring tape's an inch is an inch.
I mean, they could have their own expert do a video walkthrough and say, based on the sounds, and they probably did a timeline based on the affidavits and everything else that's come out in court. Of all the sounds that you just said were heard here and there. And they could do a video walkthrough by one of their experts and say, look, he couldn't possibly have been here and there and there. And so the government's timeline, the prosecution's timeline couldn't have happened because our expert, and you can see our expert walk through this house on video, and we're going to simulate the sound here and that other sound there, and where the prosecution says the defendant was here and there. And so they could do a video walkthrough or something like that at the demonstration that they could make a motion to play for the jury later on. So, they could be doing something like that, but it's beyond just simple measurements, because they probably have the measurements that were taken numerous times. And in discovery, they'll get, if they haven't already, all the results of the FBI's exams and the FBI forensic stuff. So my guess is, they've got all that. That's fine. But they're probably going to want their own expert to do a simulated walkthrough. They probably can, by the filings already, figure out what the prosecution might allege with the defendant's movements through the house. And they're going to try to refute that by saying, well, our expert did a walkthrough, and if he made that sound over here, he couldn't have possibly made the other sound over there because it's not enough time to get down this stairway and, of course, this room. So they're doing, I would imagine the defense is doing things like that that they're going to do like some kind of demonstration on video that's going to then be played for the jury.
And finally, Bobby, you know, this is a house that was a happy place for so many years, at least for the couple of years that those kids lived there. And it's now become just this kind of grim, macabre symbol of something so awful. And I'm sure there are people with not the best of intentions who go by there. There are people, they've had it under guard. I mean, even the university has had it under guard since they took possession of it. Do you think maybe that's the best thing to do, is to tear it down and move forward? Just because, I mean, I'm sure the university wants it off, you know, they want it gone for certain reasons. I'm sure they have their own motivations, but also this thing could be like some crazy tourist attraction for people who just don't have the best of intentions. Do you think it's the best thing to, do you think this is the best thing to do, is just to get rid of it?
I personally do. And we've seen this in past cases. I mean, I think O.J. Simpson's house was knocked down, even though that wasn't the site of the crime. I mean, it was the site where he may have tracked blood from the crime scene, allegedly. You know, so, I mean, we've had cases where, you know, these horrific crime scenes have been either destroyed or significantly remodeled, so that you don't have those macabre gawkers come by. I mean, you could have like a tour. Somebody could, you know, famous murder sites of Los Angeles, get in this bus and we're going to drive you by all these, you know.
Let's get through 2 more minutes and then I'll wrap this up and I'll give a little bit more as to how I'm feeling in all of this.
Evil places.
I know you're all waiting for my reaction. And it's late and I'm tired and I have work tomorrow, so I can address it more on tomorrow night's stream if you want to go into it more. And she's welcome to come over on my show.
Evil happened and stuff. And there are people that do that, and it's unfortunate. And I think the university probably wants to head off something like that. I think it's appropriate, you know, probably to put a memorial in that space. But the house itself, you know, it just has a feeling of the macabre and evil. And I think that it's more appropriate to kind of, in my mind, and this is just my personal opinion, to knock it down and put up some kind of nice memorial to the victims where people can go and spend time in that place and remember, you know, who these good people were and the bad thing that happened to them. So I don't think the house itself needs to be there as a reminder of the evil. I think it's better probably to have some kind of memorial, and hopefully the university will consider doing that. I don't know if they've mentioned that at all, but I would think that would be, you know, much more appropriate. But we've seen this in previous cases where houses or places like that have either been destroyed or significantly altered so that it doesn't look or feel like that anymore.
Yeah, they haven't announced any specific plans for it, but the only plans we know right now are that December 28th, it's coming down. And we will, of course, have that covered for you here on Law and Crime. I do want to mention there's not yet been a trial date set for Brian Kohberger at this point. He remains behind bars. He faces the possibility of the death penalty if he's convicted. And right now, this thing's moving toward trial, whenever that may be. So, Bobby Chacon, thanks again for coming on Crime Fix. We appreciate it.
Anytime. Thanks for having me.
All right, let's get to this really quick. So this was a statement on behalf of from Shannon Gray. Let me just bring this up. It says, let us ask, isn't it better to have the King Road house and not need, hang on one second.
natural cheddar cheese and
Sorry, one of my friends just went live. I wanted to check out their stream. Let us ask this: isn't it better to have the King Road house and not need it to be, and then need the house and not have it? That has been our question to the prosecution in the University of Idaho for the entire time of demoing. The King Road has been issued, but why is it even up for discussion? This is one of the most horrific crimes in history of Idaho, and the University of Idaho wants to destroy one of the most critical pieces of evidence in the case. It is important to make note that there is now a demolition date before there was even a date, a trial date set. This alone speaks volumes. It is obvious from the 2 recent visits to the house by the both prosecution and defense that there is still evidentiary evidentiary value in having the King Road house still standing. There are many additional discoveries by either party that prompts one side or the other to go back to the scene of the crime. There's always been a dialogue about the 3D imaging, or they are building a model to replicate the home. First and foremost, what a waste of state money and the resources. And secondly, nothing replaces the real thing. Jurors are notoriously unpredictable, and they tend to make decisions on the variety of facts and circumstances. And it would be foolish of any of us to try to foresee that they will need to make a just verdict in this case. The family has stressed tirelessly to the prosecution and the University of Idaho the importance, evidentiary and emotionally, that the King Road house carries, but no one seems to care enough. It is screaming into a void. Nobody is listening, and everyone's telling you how sorry they are for the decision, but the family's opinion isn't a priority. Victims' families have a voice and should be heard and listened to. And that was from posted from Shannon Gray. And I'm using the Innocent Until Twitter account. Just saw that up on there. So something I wanted to bring all to you, so you knew about that. And I stand by that statement. Again, I just feel really weird in the whole thing. I just don't think it's right. And I just don't think it's time. And if that memorial is built, it 1000% needs to have the family's approval in all of this. So obviously I get called 14 million times during my stream by Tanya, which is something I would never do. So obviously it says that she's either watching me or someone was watching me and tipped her off and she started watching me. Either way, whatever. So I'll just address all the frustration and all of this. I've been holding back for a very, 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 very long time. And a lot of people have reached out to me over the past 6 months or so and said, hey, have you seen this? Have you seen this? And I got tipped off the other night that she was essentially using the police report in Chelsea Grimm's case, said that she doesn't even obtain a copy of the police report, but in her presentation where she puts her watermark has the police report verbatim. So how did you access that content? Well, I asked her and she came out and said, I took it from your channel. Essentially, I made some notes. So you made notes word for word. No, you went in and probably screen grabbed everything and then typed it in your own handwriting. So the thing that I had a problem with it was, if you would have just reached out to me and been nice, I probably would have said, sure, I can help you out. But you went behind my back. You went behind Carrie's back that put a shit ton of work into obtain that file and get all that body cam footage. Then you're just going to bring it up on your show where you've done like 7 shows on Chelsea. So you're so far behind in the case. You're misleading people in the case. And then you're saying none of the people that watch my channel even care about the timeline. They just want to hear about the conversation between her and her mother. That's the most ridiculous and the most utmost disrespectful thing I've ever heard in any case that's been covered. Because everything in a missing persons case is very important, because you read that and you go through it because someone may see something that you don't, or maybe someone reads something differently and says, hey, did you look at this? I just passed the case file to Tom. I was telling Tom about it last night off stream. He said, send me the file. I'll take a look at it. Maybe there's something in there that I see that you haven't seen. So I was upset. I don't like to do things like this, but this has been building for a while. And all the times that she ever came over on the channel, or all the times that I said, let's get together, not once has she ever reached out and said, why don't you come over on my channel at this time and let's do something? It's always was me in the beginning when her and I were hanging out on a panel. And, you know, I just get this fear that she's so afraid that I'm going to grab her subscribers. You know, the people that do these live streams, you have to understand, every one of these people in this chat all watch the same people. It is enough subscribers to go around. Believe me, we're only one of a billion channels that are out there. There are a billion true crime channels on the internet, on YouTube. We're all going to get a piece of it. And for this weird thing with you, it's like a subscriber thing with you. Oh, he's going to beat me. Oh, he's going to do this. It has nothing to do with that. So, it's fine. Sure, I've never talked to Lana in my entire life. I think I've watched her channel 3 times. Listen, my watermark is on there. It's free advertising. But like I said in the beginning of the stream, going forward, there will be things in place as we get more deeper into the Kopacka case that it's going to be a little bit harder to obtain that footage and see it. So I will make that, because I was pissed off in the fact of everybody just started coming to my channel, grabbing it and making their own content about it. How about you do this? Drop an email to me and say, hey, do you mind? I would do that, but I don't know. Maybe I'm just a better, fairer creator. You know, everybody just says, well, it's free and open. You know, it's free. It's free. What do they call it? I can't even think of the word on top of my mind right now. Oh, you know, but I think that if someone just drops something, give them the opportunity to let that build on their channel. No, in fucking 3 hours, people were snaking it off my channel, going over, blowing up a live stream and going, oh, look at this LTL. Oh, he's got the Kopacka stuff. Can you let it breathe for a day? So going forward, I'll just put things in place. I'll put things in place. It's fine. But Lana, if you're watching, thank you. I appreciate that. Go at it. But yeah, just drop me an email. I'm a super fair guy. You know, I would respect people more if they went out and did public records request or got camera footage. I know some of these creators do that. They have done that. But I just don't like people that kind of sit around, turn their camera on, and then they go, well, I'm just going to write some notes and da-da-da. I'm starting to step my channel up in a different level. So I'm learning the process of doing all this stuff. And I have now an assistant that is helping me behind the scenes. You know, we line up a schedule. We talk about different shows. You know, someone that I can bounce ideas off of that is helping me. And that was kind of shitting in her face. She put a ton of time in getting all of that Chelsea file for LTL True Crime Podcast. And it feels like you just come in and you snatched it from us, and you're going to go to your channel, hand type it out, and pass it off with your watermark on it saying, well, I did all this research. I mean, literally verbatim. Verbatim. I know you're watching, Tanya. I can just show you. I'll just show you what you did. And if you ever want to come on the panel and we can talk about it, it's fine. I'll show you. I know you're watching me because you called me 40 million times. But I got it right here. This is what you did. How would you know this? This is the police report. This is my stream. Word for word. You did it. Word for word. And then you admitted because I had screenshots and I caught you. Word for word. And it goes on and on and on. How would you know the way that it's written? The way that it is written in the police report. How would you know that? Word for word. I caught you. And you've done this to me for a long time. Looking back, Idaho, looking back. Let's do it. Looking back. Again, I got you. Here. Word for word. And you said, oh, I just took notes. No, you copied the whole police report. You said you never even possessed the police report. Word for word. How would you know that? That's the only thing that's, I mean, it goes on and on and on, the whole presentation. So that's not your work. And that's what I have an issue with. And I was nice to you and I was kind. And I wanted to start a weekly thing with you because we had great chemistry. I used to go in your chat and super chat you and show you support. Never once did you ever come in and verbalize you're in here. In the beginning you did, but then you snuck around. And then I caught you when I threw a free membership out there. I don't know. It's like it's like this thing you got to get ahead of me or something. It's fine if you want to come hang out and elevate each other. I'm down for that. I liked hanging out with you, but don't just bounce after 10,000 subs and never say anything to me again, but then come over and take my shit and go on your channel and say, oh, I mean, you ran parallel streams for me for months because my tiles drop at like 6, 7 o'clock in the morning. And then you would wait all day. And then ironically, just before about 2 hours, 3 hours before you go showtime, bam. Oh, we're going to do Idaho tonight. Guess who's out doing Idaho tonight? And you would run it at 8:15 every night, parallel to me. So you could pull all those people over. That's fine. But everybody told me, and I held back for a long time. And I think that you're actually a really great creator. I got to give you credit on that. When you do stuff yourself, when you have your own material, because you do nice presentations and you're, you have a nice, I like your setup in the back. You've put a lot of work into it. But I would just urge you, get to that next level. Be great. Listen, I'm learning. I'm still learning. I still have a lot to go through. But I just think it's weird. You spend a lot of time watching me. You know how much time I have to watch other creators? 0. You know why I do that? 1, because I work like 50 hours a week full time. And then I try to do this full time. And I just don't like to watch other people because I don't want that to cloud my vision of my channel. And I want to think of my own thoughts. So that's all I really have to say about it. You don't need to call me anymore. It's fine. If you want to talk smack about me, it's fine. I've showed everybody. They know. So let's just move on. You can keep building your channel. I know it's like a sub count thing for you. And I'm sure you'll get angrier as I get closer to you in sub count, because that's like the thing that you kept saying in the email response to me. It was like sub count. I don't do this for sub count. I do it to bring justice to these cases and to see all these wonderful people in the chat that are here to support. So I think that's all I have to say about it. Don't call me anymore because I'm not going to pick up the phone. If you want to address me, come in my chat. I'll drop the link and we can do it live. It's easy enough. That's the way that I do things because this is Let's Talk Live. People want to know. People want to see it. So anyway, I'm going to go. I'm tired. I think we had a fantastic Idaho 4 stream tonight. A lot of revealing things as well. And that's it. Everybody, I'll be back tomorrow, 8:15 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. I'm going to drop the link for that. We are going to go through the Brent Kopacka case file. I will read through some of it. And then back on the 20th, coming up on the 20th, I have Turtle Boy back on the show to talk about Karen Reed and in his case, his pending case. And then in between that, I'm going to try to get the glare on as well, too. So tomorrow night's show, the tile is up right there. Make sure you click on it. I'm tired. My bed is right there. I need to be up at 7 o'clock tomorrow morning for work. And then I'll be back tomorrow night live at 8:15 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. I hope all of you have an amazing night. Thank you so much for being here. And I hope to see you all tomorrow. From LTL True Crime Podcast, I'll see you guys tomorrow night. Have a good night.